Hi friends, I'm Dr. Ramprasad Kancharla. Good morning to every one of you. First, I would like to extend my thanks to the organizing committee of OASISCON for providing me this opportunity. Today, we are going to look into some tips and tricks of ligament balancing in total knee arthroplasty. Basically, what is it? It's, I think, a very elaborated definition of consisting of 7 to 8 points of rectangular flexion gap, and everything, every knee should be perfect. I think it's a job of Dr. Lombardi or Chetranjan Ranawat. An average or a good arthroplasty surgeon, it's difficult to accomplish all these points. But you should be always in the pursuit of achieving a well-balanced knee. Why should you achieve a ligament well-balanced knee? You just say compare yourself driving a mal-aligned car, wheel-balanced car with a perfectly well-balanced wheel-balanced car. I think this applies same to the patient living with a imbalanced knee. It's very difficult. I think it translates into increased pain and poor proprioception. And well-balanced knee will give you him a very good long life and reduce prosthetic wear. Basically, patient is very happy and as well the surgeon. Today, let's limit our discussion to simple varus and valgus knees with some flexion deformities. Basically, I will show what do I do and what did I learn in the last 10 years of my practice. There are two schools of thought and textbook techniques. That's the first one is the measured resection technique, where we basically take all the standard femoral and tibial cuts and then start balancing the knee after putting the trial implants. And the second technique is the balanced resection technique, where you take your proximal tibial cut and then start to plan your femoral cuts basing on the parallelity to the tibial cut. And I feel no single technique is really foolproof and absolute. It basically depends on the implant and the instrumentation we use, and there are pros and cons for every technique. So we should know how to strike a balance between both of these techniques, taking the positive points out of each technique. And first, coming to the more common varus knees. And believe me, 90% of the cases, routine exposure and resection of the osteophytes itself balance your total knee replacement. And it's not a really very huge, monstrous task. An average or a good orthopedic surgeon can do a total knee well balancedly. So the basic surgical procedure I think I follow is a medial parabutlar approach or a mid-vastus approach. First, resect the visible osteophytes and place your distal femoral cut, I think 5 to 6 degrees of valgus. And your saw blade should be taking 1 or 2 mm of the intercondylar notch, the top of the intercondylar notch, or otherwise just adjust the cut to +2 so that you take enough of the distal femur. And the standard tibial cut. Basically, I wish to check the extension gap with the spacer initially, and then you will have a decent idea where is really the tightness. And then you flex and put the femoral sizer, taking into consideration the T3, the external rotation in the posterior condyle axis. And I cross-check my placement of the pins with the transepicondylar axis and white side line, so that I don't really go wrong grossly. But this will not work in severe varus cases. So I use the tibial cut as a guide and place my femoral cutting jig parallel to the tibial cut, so that I use this point in the gap balancing technique of ligament balancing. And then sequentially you do a posterior release after the box cut, and then you place your trial implants, then try to balance your knee. If you have a loose knee, I think simply add a higher poly and then see where the tightness is. 90% of the cases you see the tightness in flexion as well as extension. So I follow this technique of pipe crusting the MCL with a 16 gauge needle. This technique might be scary, but it gives absolutely good results, and you will know where to stop, and you will not overdo it. Don't be scared to do this technique. I think once you get used to it, you will feel more comfortable. And if you feel the medial tightness only in flexion, release the anterior most portion of the MCL. If you see medially tight only in extension, release the posterior most portion of the MCL and posteromedial capsule. Sometimes after placing the implants, I think I follow this sequence, the tibia, femur, and placing the poly, and never ever subluxate the tibia to place your poly, because almost every implant guy does the same. And but you just need to distract the femur and from the tibia and try to place your poly. This is the technique I think every beginner should start experimenting with and just follow it. Sometimes you will have flexion deformity after the trial implants, so try to have more posterior capsular release, and still if you are not getting it right, repeat the distal femoral cut and place your chamfers again, but take care not to elevate the joint line too much and never leave an intraoperative flexion deformity. And 99% of the cases, all these techniques will work in your varus knees and you will get 100% a well-balanced knee. Now coming to the valgus knees, these are rare, but still 80% of the valgus knees are easy. They are less than 20 degrees and they are only tight in extension laterally. So this almost always the flexion disappears the valgus disappears when you flex the knee. So I follow the medial parapatellar approach, and the standard femoral cut, I take it only with 3 degrees of valgus, and tibial cut, I just undercut the tibia. I think I will take only 6 mm. And first I will try to balance the extension gap, putting a laminar distractor on the lateral side and pike crush the posterolateral capsule and release the ITB at the level of the joint. I make sure that I equalize my extension gap in the first instance itself. Then the standard flexion and putting your femoral sizing guide using your transepicondylar axis, and then the standard femoral cuts, and I put the trial implants and try to balance the knee. If you find tightness laterally only in flexion, then I score the popliteus and LCL. And if it is really tight only in extension, I repeat the first step again, pike crushing the posterolateral capsule and releasing the ITB at the level of joint. But if it is really tight in both extension and flexion, I think the best thing is to release the LCL. There is no other go. I think this completes our basic tips and tricks of ligament balancing in valgus and varus knees. And you should always customize your own technique and know what really works in your hands, and always look at the deformity and the severity in both the planes. Study the X-ray preoperatively, anticipate the any difficulties that might be encountered intraoperatively, and be familiar with the implant and instrumentation, and never ever be scared of eyeballing. You will get it right. It comes with experience. If something has gone wrong, okay, it has gone wrong, but you should always learn to optimize the compromise. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.